I have 10 o'clock. We'll call the Sawyer County Administrative Committee meeting to order. Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Ron Kinsley.
Here.
Ron Buckholz.
Present.
Tom Duffy. John Righeimer.
Here.
Stacy Hessel is excused. You have a
you.
quorum.
Thank you. Next item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Number 5, certification compliance open meeting laws.
This meeting was noticed to the media and public as required by Section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Number 6 is the meeting agenda. The agenda is set. Number 7, public comment. Ms. Zimmer.
Linda Zilmer, Edgewater property owner. Over the last week or two, I've sent a number of emails to the county board chair, vice chair, and administrator, and some other supervisors on copy. And it's with regard to the solar ordinance moratorium. It's asking to have it extended because I don't believe, and the towns also don't believe that the version is probably ready to be acted on. And wanted to remind folks in this room that I think it was in July of 2024, at a quarterly meeting of the Wisconsin Towns Association, all the towns that were present at the Sand Lake Town Hall voted to provide a letter to the administrator, County Administrator Andy Alvarado at the time, asking for more cooperation and coordination between the county and the towns, especially with regard to zoning matters. There was one meeting that was held where the towns shared some of their concerns. And I don't think that the scheduling and the timing of the towns getting information has ever been addressed. But the county board created the MDD ad hoc committee. And I was just amazed at the participation by the towns that tried to work on the zoning ordinance inconsistencies and conflicts, how much they got accomplished. And it's really sad that their work has never come forward to the zoning committee. But here we are in April, and two zoning ordinance amendments and the solar ordinance were sent to the towns. I think they were emailed to town clerks on March 26th. The first notice that these would be on a zoning committee agenda was posted to the main page of the county website on April 1st. As of today, I just checked my phone. The agenda for the zoning committee hearing for April 17th is still not on the website. And I don't think any of those ordinance amendment drafts, if anybody even knew to look for them, were posted to the zoning website until after April 2nd. Now, the town of Hayward met on April 1st, their plan commission, and they were told that there are 3 companies looking to site solar installations in Sawyer County, and they felt that they had to pass that ordinance, and they did. I know other towns that are just, they can't pull together their plan commission and town boards to meet in time to act on those, and so some aren't. And I suspect that there's some towns that'll just say that those ordinances and amendments they're going to disapprove them. I did attend the Town of Round Lake Plan Commission meeting, and for the solar ordinance, they felt that there was not sufficient time, and I believe that their town board meets tonight, but their recommendation to the Round Lake Town Board is to ask the county to extend the moratorium. And on the 2 zoning ordinance amendments, they do not believe that apartments or apartment complexes belong in commercial, which is consistent with the MDD ad hoc committee recommendation. And the last one for data centers, they felt was inadequate. They are recommending disapproval because just listing it as a conditional use industrial zone district does not provide the protection, and just requiring 160 acres is not a sufficient condition. So I want to know, there's this situation that keeps recurring. There are problems that I think that the Board of Adjustment or Board of Appeals is having. There's just a lot of issues, and whether it's the town or the public bringing them to the committee or to administration, nothing gets addressed and things do not seem to get better. So I guess, I know you cannot answer me in public comment, but I really want to know, what does it take to get the county to take a look at things and address them? Thank you.
Thank you. Is everybody online? Number 8, consider approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
A second.
Motion by Mr. Duffy, second by Mr. Regenheimer to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 9, appointments to Local Emergency Planning Committee. Recommended appointments to the ALPS EPC. Mr. Markram.
If you look at your packet, this is quite a lengthy list of people, but they are the recommendations from the LEPC to serve on this committee, coming from our Director of Emergency Services. We would need a motion for approval.
Mr. Buckles.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the LEPC appointments to that committee.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Buckles, second by Mr. Duffy to approve the appointments. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 10, County Clerk Report. Ms. Klein.
We had a real busy month with dog licenses because April 1st was the date that the lake period starts. So they get penalized if they wait. So we had a lot of those. You can see 190 dog licenses sold in March. Marriages are starting to pick up for spring. We were requiring an appointment. Now, a lot of the counties require an appointment. You're supposed to have a private area for the people to sit in when they do it because it's personal information and social security numbers. We don't have that because we have the traffic of that hallway there. So we're trying to find a better way to accommodate people. And so we're requiring an appointment so we can give them our undivided attention and try to get more privacy for them. Let's see. So the election went really well. We had a lot of new clerks. There was turnover. No major problems. People are getting used to the new machine, voting machines. A lot of people hand counted because when there's a registered write-in, you have to pull them out and look at all of them. So that seemed to get done correctly for most of those towns that had that. I have all the results in, and I'm going to start entering voters now when I get done with this week of this stuff. Canvass is Tuesday morning in the Assembly Room at 9 a.m., and we have political party representatives appointed to the Board of Canvass, and they're going to take their oaths, and we'll do the canvass. So that's already set up and ready. Notice to the paper. I went to a FEMA training class in Shell Lake as part of the PIO. I was asked to be the public information officer. There's a lot to that. It's not just, you have to have the training. So I have some of the training from firefighting, but I did do this PIO class, where I met Jennifer Cadotte from LCO. So we've been corresponding quite a bit because we've been cooperating with sharing public notices with the tribe and the county, and they post our agendas for us there. And so we had a great time networking. That was really good. Getting ready for the new county board seating and the elections there and the organizational meeting. Laura's back to 1930s on county resolutions and scanning. And the last thing is, we've been getting letters from school students occasionally. Some are for the county clerk, and they ask for historical information, and I always answer those. But lately, we've had a couple to the county board supervisors, and it's a child, a student asking information, or lately, they've been suggesting policy changes. So it must be a social studies class, but they're writing to complain about roads or to make suggestions about what you could do different with the roads and things like that. So those are coming in there for the county board, and I've been forwarding them to you guys, but Stacy asked, has anyone been answering them? So we wanted to get that established, that someone maybe could answer them that's a supervisor. Mr. Buckles had an idea about that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I have this letter right here from this young lady from the Hayward School District. wanting to know, about the roads and stuff. And I believe that should come from the county board chair. Well,
But that one's easy to answer because she's talking about gravel roads and dirt roads.
well, no,
Doesn't
and
have-
county roads too. There is dirt roads, but she's also talking about Sawyer County roads, plowing, and other stuff. She also states gravel roads, which are in townships, but them have to be addressed by the town board. But this one here is suggesting 48 rural roads plowed after a snowstorm. She just wanting to know if there's a quicker response time for them to get out and do it. You guys read this? You read it? So you didn't like my,
I'll answer, I need to, that's fine.
I'm gonna answer half, and the rest is your town board.
well, yeah, and I agree, there is some town board on there, which, Mr. Kinsley should only just address what county, and then just tell them, well, you have to go write a letter to your town board too, so.
Well, it would be instructional for kids to understand that there is a town government level where they do their own administration of certain things, and then there's the higher level of the county. So that could be in the response. So gravel roads and your local town roads are the town board, so contact your town chairman. And as for the county roads, here's the answer to that. Then they're getting engagement with real government. I think that's the idea the teachers wanted.
On dog licenses for vacationers who spend most of the summer here, do they have to have a dog license? Is there a residency requirement for dogs?
If those dogs get picked up by animal control, which is up to Chaz Olson, she's the animal control officer, they do look for the tag. It's not about taxing people wherever they live, it's about proving the dog has a rabies vaccine. And what we're actually tracking is the rabies vaccine serial number and lot, because just this year, there was a failure of a set of rabies vaccines in the country, and it affected 2.5% of the dogs. They were given a saline injection instead of the rabies vaccine. So you could have a bunch of dogs with rabies run around in an area that had a failed vaccine lot, and that's what they're tracking. The state wants to know that so they can let people know to go get a new shot, because that one wasn't gonna work. So I think that's what they're tracking. Now, if they have a rabies license from another state or something, they could present that to the animal control. The only interface the person has is when the dog catcher catches the dog. So it's up to Chaz how that's handled. That's kind of a question we could ask her, maybe in public safety.
Yeah.
Anything else? We move forward to number 11, Veteran Service Office Report.
Hey.
Elliott.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
So March was a busy month. We had 499 phone calls, 1,157 letters, emails, and faxes, and 232 office visits, of which 118 were walk-ins. Workload perspective for last year, 456, 677, and 216 people. For our pension claims, we submitted, last month we had up to 48 claims to date. Received retroactive payment of $216,474.66 for claims that were decided in the veterans' favor. In comparison to last year, same month, 51 claims and a retroactive of $62,641.54. Our La Crosse Vet Center, our counseling sessions, we had one individual and 3 group counseling sessions. We had to cancel a few because of the weather. People couldn't make it. We've got some from Ashland County, Bayfield, coming in, so they've got a bit of a drive for some of these things that we support. The outreach, we continue with coffee and conversation every first Wednesday of the month, and that continues to be a success. It's a good time for people to make friends and have a different, a little broader brush of support when they need it. For social media recap, we had 244 followers. We went up 16. 4,838 views of our Facebook site. That was increase of 24.1% and 81 engagements, and that was down 53%. Our training's up to date. I'll remind you, the end of the month, the last week of this month, Nicole and I will be going to our spring conference training down in, oh my goodness, Wausau. So we'll be out for that to get our training up to speed and maintain it. Is there any questions? So I will add a couple things. The Secretary, Wisconsin Department of Veteran Affairs Secretary stopped in and seen me. He come in about a week before, and I had people lined up, and he just stuck his head in the door, looked around and went, I'll come back. And he did. About a week later, he showed up. So we've got a good relationship with WDVA, and I hope we keep it as far as the CVSO organization as a whole. We haven't had a secretary do so many visits. It's not unusual to see him like twice a year, which is great because they come in and ask what's going on, how they can improve things, what's bugging us, what can they do to help us, help with the veterans get their benefits and assist them. So that's one thing. As far as the VA, I've told you before, we've had an increase in workload due to issues at the federal VA as far as filing claims. We'll file a claim for a disease or disability due to like Agent Orange exposure, and lo and behold, the feds come back and go, no, extreme sun exposure does not cause prostate cancer. And it was nothing ever claimed. I mean, it's totally nuts, some of this stuff. And within 2 weeks, we had a dozen claims come back, denied, and it wasn't for anything that we claimed. So I had a conversation. We had it's called a higher level review for one of the veterans. When the claims come back that way, where they've made a clear mistake, or they missed the whole thing, up front, the HLR will talk to a specialist that's been doing the job for many years, that's put in the position where they can sit there and adjudicate the claim by themselves right there after everything else has been done. And I asked her, I said, what's going on with this stuff? Because you're killing me with the workload. We do the claim, we're very direct. We tell them exactly what we're claiming, why we're claiming it, and how it happened, how it's all tied together into service. And on top of that, then there's a statement of support claim that reiterates everything of where the veteran served and how it happened. And it's like they're not reading it. And she said they, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I told you the VA had done a massive hiring process just to keep up with all the claims coming in. And I think, and she said that a lot of the people are new, and when they see something being claimed for one thing, they jump to a conclusion and track, start tracking this down. Or they send the claim for different things like Agent Orange. There's 2 VA regional offices within the country that only do Agent Orange claims. There's one place that only does Blue Water Agent Orange claims. And so if they see these things, that's the first place that they send it. So then that regional office that specializes in Agent Orange might have an Agent Orange claim, and these claims have multiple items. So somebody had prostate cancer, they got basal cell carcinoma, and I don't know, pick something else, but there's two distinct causes of these cancers. So they see the prostate cancer due to Agent Orange, so it goes to one of the bureaus that deals with Agent Orange, and that bureau picks up and runs with it. They do the prostate cancer claim, portion of the claim, and then they look at the basal cell and say, basal cell carcinoma is not caused by Agent Orange, denied. And it's like, no, it needs to, so the Agent Orange portion of the claim should be decided by these bureaus that are specialized in Agent Orange. After that, they kick that claim back out and send it to another regional office that can work on the basal cell carcinoma versus trying to decide it on themselves. So in the meantime, so we file the claim, the veteran sits there and waits for the VA to get all their documents together to go, yay, verily, this happened, this person did serve here. Let's look at the medical records. Okay, yes, they're diagnosed with this. Yes, it's a presumed condition. So that takes time, but then they send them to a comp and pen examiner, which is a contracted medical person, supposed to be within 50 miles of wherever the veteran lives. Doesn't always happen because of where we live, right? So they might have a little bit longer drive. They go to this comp and pen exam, the examiner looks at it, and the VA, lo and behold, said, we want you to look at his basal cell carcinoma or her basal cell carcinoma and tell us if it is due to Agent Orange exposure. That's the only thing that medical examiner can look at. So the good examiners are like, they can't say, hey, boss, you're an idiot, continue to pay me. But the good examiners that we've had that have gotten those things have went back and said, no, there is no medical science behind Agent Orange causing basal cell carcinoma. However, basal cell carcinoma is due to extreme sun exposure, which is what Gary put in the claim in the first place. So regardless, the claim's decided is denied. It comes back to the veteran comes back to me. I'm sitting there looking at it going, that's not right. So now I have to go back through this appeals process. That is the increase in the workload, and it happens over and over and over. So we're busy. We're busy.
That's terrible, but.
It is, but until they get it straight, I thought everybody wants to go to AI, and they did. The VA tried AI a little bit, and it was jacking things up. It's not like the human eye where they can read the context of what's going on and understand the message that's being sent in word to them. And so that kind of screwed things up for a little bit, and the VA backed off on it and used the test bed on only certain items. And so that helped reduce it, but now we're back to new people, and it's like, no. And everything else too, the other thing I've seen too, that the VA, they've touted that they've reduced their workload. I mean, they've cleaned the plate. They don't have any backlog of claims. Well, they won't have a backlog of claims if they keep doing, denials, or what they can do as far as watching their timing going, because the VA employees have certain timeframes that they have to have these claims done. So when they get something and they might be backlogged, we'll get a question of going, hey, to the veteran, going, hey, if you have any of your military service records, please forward them to us so we can adjudicate your claim. And I will go into their VA file within the VA's system, and I'll see their service records sitting there in the veteran's file. But what that did, that one letter just pushed that workload down. Now the time frame is pushed back 60 days for that one. So you do a few of those, and you're still meeting all your timing, by the VA standards, so they're not getting counseled for that. But it just pushes the line down, and then we're sitting here waiting for them to do their work. But anyway, it's not pretty, and I don't mean to bash on the VA, because there are a lot of really good people.
Have any results of the election? Or am I reading the wrong one?
No,
That's all right. Yeah, so there's a lot of good people within the VA. The hard thing is navigating through, like I said, the trainees for one, but the administration. If I can get through the administration, I get to the people that are, actually doing the work, then I've got success. But there's so many roadblocks and things that they're throwing broomsticks in my bicycle spokes as I'm trying to pedal along with the veteran. It sucks at times. So anyway.
Well,
All
I
right.
appreciate
So,
all you do here.
Yep. I just want to let you know, because I know we don't talk about a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff I can't talk about, but just to let you know that we continue to fight, so
Thank you.
that's all I got.
Number 12, veteran tribute update.
Thank you. If you've driven on 63, you can see that the Dairy Queen is now gone. It is, yeah. JR Excavating did a tremendous job on that. He started that yesterday, and I walked home after Public Works last night, and they were still filling the hole, and they had it almost full in one day. Just amazing work. I want to commend them for that. We do have some decisions to make moving forward now. We've got to decide if we want to bid out piece by piece or try to get a final cost before we move forward at all. The initial renderings we looked at last summer was a kind of a post-frame construction wall with, I believe the intent was decking for the wall itself. And at that time, I mentioned I would like to look at an alternate bid of something that maybe is a little more lasting, like a block. So I did email these out to you and also brought copies this morning of a couple different options of that. One being brick, one being split face. Just wanted some direction if you want to take a look at alternate bids or go with the initial only. And that also will change the flat work a little bit too, because a post frame, you would have to set the posts ahead of time, get them buried down below the frost line. With more of a block split faced, you would do anchor bolts that you would put into the concrete when it's wet. So that will make a little difference in how we move forward. The other thing, I think it's important that we represent all the branches. I did talk with Gary briefly, and that would include Space Force now. They've been in existence since, I believe, 2019, and they are recognized, and if we're doing something now, they should be on there as well. One more thing that I did discover, which we'll need to make a decision on moving forward as well before concrete work, is the fountain. I always assumed that was electric and with a pump. It actually runs off city water pressure, and they have a little diverter in there so they can control how much flows through it. So we have a decision to make if that's the route we want to go, which we would have to pay for constantly running city water if we went that route, or if we want to see if we can hook it up to a pump, that would have to be, we'd have to bring electricity in underneath before we did a slab then too. So I'm looking for a little direction on both with the water pump, if we want just water pressure or electric. And then if you want this bid out just as had been presented or as an alternate or both, or what you're thinking.
Well, Mike, I was wondering, maybe we should get a price on about what the water pressure would be from the city compared to what the pump would be. I guess something we could start with is, see, actually, I believe I'd rather see the city water, but, it depends on the cost, I guess.
If we can hook it up where it dissipates on its own, it's a lot cheaper. Because I think water itself is I'm gonna get the numbers wrong. It's 5 versus 12.
Yeah.
If you have to add sewer in as well, then it jumps up to 12.
So the cost of the pump more upfront, but probably pay for itself quickly, is what you're saying?
I would guess so.
That's what I would assume too.
Yeah.
When the fountain was at the foot of Main Street, sometimes the water just barely bubbled over. So I think it's important that we get a nice stream. You just don't want
That's a great
water.
point. I didn't even know it even bubbled because it was so weak.
Well, it bubbled, but there's a little bit of water.
It bubbled.
Sometimes the birds would get in there and took a bath, but that's about all.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a nice quality of stream.
Yeah, and a bigger reservoir for the water,
Yeah.
so, it can
Yeah, great
bubble up.
point. Yeah, I think that's true. I would agree.
That maybe could be controlled with water pressure, but then it's gonna cost more per month on the water bill too.
Well, we don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on the water bill.
Yeah.
If the pump would pay for itself, that'd be fine,
Plus, it's
It
wasteful.
was just
to
a suggestion.
Yeah.
Would the city give the water for free?
I could inquire on that.
Then that, we don't get the good fountain, but Mike, are these are, whose ideas are these, and these are the choices, or, and one, we don't know what the price would be versus one over the other, or?
No, that's what I would like to do is get prices on both routes to see where we're at with either. These are ones I came up with because like I said, last summer I mentioned I would like to have an alternate of
They all look good. I mean,
a
Yeah.
little firmer structure.
How close to the other building on the west would that be?
unmute Stacy.
Well, the building was very close to the other building.
Oh, she is unmuted.
I think we would want to be a little further away to give some room. Like there was a section of their roof that I believe actually dumped onto the Dairy Queen roof right along the highway there. So,
Liz, did you say Stacy was on there?
and Stacy has done a lot of background work as far as working with an architect for the flat work, which the flat work's gonna be the same either way. It really just comes down to the wall structure.
So do we need a motion then to get bids? Unless you're recommending?
I would appreciate that, yes.
I'll make a motion to get bids.
And you're talking bid out the total project, so we know what
Right.
we're getting into.
I'll second that.
So a motion by Mr. Rickenheimer, second by Mr. Buckles. Stacy, you got anything to say? Ms. Hessel?
Long ways away.
The bid at the Blarney.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably like 6 o'clock there,
I
isn't
was
it?
gonna say 6-7 hour difference, right?
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. So we're getting bids, let's make it clear. So we're getting bids for the whole project, or just the cement work to start, or where are we gonna start at?
So, well, as long as we got a motion second on the floor, for discussion, I would like to know, what about this other fellow that was here?
Oh, that Enbridge,
Enbridge guy,
or jumper?
we're just gonna throw him out?
The Excel guy?
Yeah.
I met with him after the last meeting.
Oh, you're talking about Carson.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that
yeah,
guy.
the other guy that was sitting here.
No,
I forget his name.
Yeah, Carson, the guy that owns Lumberman Exchange.
Yeah. Oh,
He came in and gave us a presentation.
he did, yeah.
that's what I mean, yeah.
For the fountain, right?
He has an idea for a plaza downtown. You know, that has nothing to do with the county. You know, the only connection he has with the county, with our project, is he would like.
He likes that fountain.
The fountain to stay where it is. So
How much
that's,
does he like it? $sign.
that could be a question. I don't know.
Well, then what we're saying then is, we're gonna wanna move forward on bids with these.
I
guess
think we should
I wanna
move
throw this
forward.
out there is, what about what Stacy presented?
I say we bid both, yes.
Okay,
Yep,
because she put a lot of work into that.
yep.
You say bid both, what does that mean?
Stacy's proposal was more of a post frame wall. The only difference is.
Oh, okay.
It's the one she
It's how
passed
it
out at
looks.
the last
Yeah.
meeting, Mr. Reagan,
Yeah.
all these.
The ones with the flag and the picture?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, so. I guess, yeah, I'm fine with that. Fine, my motion, and or second is fine. So,
Okay, any other discussion?
So we're doing bids for these, this is like not 3 bids, right? This is just conceptual.
Yeah, that's,
And then what Ron's saying, then Stacy's got conceptual. So we get bids on
yeah.
1 and then 2.
I think brick would be out of reach,
Okay.
but I think a split face block would be possibly within budget.
Okay. So we're gonna vote then, all in favor of the motion?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. A lot of time been put in by Mr. Marker and Stacy, I appreciate that, not that any of the people have not. All right. Number 13, informational technology, IT report.
Mr. Colson stated he would not be able to be at the meeting, but you've got his report in front of you. Any questions?
I would like to thank Mike Colson. He came back to the county, to my office Tuesday night because I was having a technical issue with posting the spreadsheet online and live to the website, which I have to do for the election return. So he came over at night, it was like 8:30, and helped me out in my office. So I just want to thank him.
Sure.
I would echo that too. Both Mike and Alex are always very responsive whenever we have a need. And I am not the most tech savvy guy, and I have needs and they're always there.
That's nice. Yeah. Number 14, human resource report.
Rose as well is not able to be here this morning, but her report is attached. It's the only thing I would add is we are having good qualified applicants for our open positions, and we've been pretty pleased with that. It was a different story 4 years ago. We really struggled to fill some positions, and now we're having options.
Where are we at with filling Joe Bodo's position? How's that gonna work?
He has come back on a part-time basis. Yep. Yeah, that was
He's not
open.
gonna do that forever, is he?
No. And our need may change as we assess how this is working with him on a part-time basis too.
Number 15, zoning, solar ordinance moratorium discussion. This is put on because there seemed to be some issues about whether we had to renew our moratorium date or extend it or not extend it. Thank you, Gary. And so this brought to my attention, so after discussion with quite a few people, Jay came up with some answers how to rectify it. You want to add stuff to that?
Yes, I have been working with Jay and our legal counsel as well to be prepared for either situation. To plan for both an extension of the moratorium or to move forward if we had town support in doing so. So that's what we're working on. I did reach out to council this morning with a couple other questions, have not heard back on those, but the posting requirements are what could cause us a little indigestion, because actually zoning meets on the 17th of this month. The moratorium ends May 21st. So on surface, it sounds like we can wait until then, but I'm unsure because if we have to have a 30-day posting requirement, there's 30 days there, but we might not get 30 days in the newspaper because, you know, it's a weekly newspaper. That makes that a little more challenging. So that's what I'm looking into.
Does Jay need more time or is he ready to go?
Well, Jay's online, I guess let's ask him.
I am online, yes.
Thank you.
So the ordinance has been approved by zoning committee and is out to the towns right now for their review. Now, some of the towns moved back their town board meetings because of their town annual meetings in the month of April. So some of the towns are not going to have a chance to thoroughly review the proposed ordinance before the proposed public hearing at zoning committee in April. If zoning committee, with that information, decides to table the ordinance, we would have one additional chance in May, in which my proposal would be, we would have two separate public hearings that would be posted and published. One as a public hearing for a recommendation by zoning committee to adopt the solar ordinance. And if we're still not ready, the other public hearing process would be then for an extension of the moratorium. Now, again, the time frame aspects of this are a little tricky, and those are still being worked out with legal counsel. Worst case scenario, we may have to hold a special public hearing, not on our regularly scheduled zoning committee time, but something potentially a week before that. But again, it would be my hope that if zoning committee does not approve the ordinance next Friday, we'd still have one more chance in May to either approve the ordinance or extend the moratorium. But I don't need additional time on my end unless there's some reason that either the zoning committee, the towns, or the public in general has some severe issues or corrections that are needed with the proposed ordinance at this point.
Jay, I'm wondering, I'm still kicking this around from our last zoning committee meeting, and I'm wondering if somebody could give me the answers why you and Rebecca pushed this so fast to get it through to get it out to the towns when it's nowhere near ready to go out to the towns. Because of what was happening in the zoning committee with one of the zoning committee members going through the ordinance and making all these changes, and Rebecca says, well, why ain't it ready to go? It's not, because all these changes were coming through at the zoning committee. That just tells me that it's not ready to go out to the towns. I just believe we should be extending that moratorium.
I mean, I could speak to that, but I mean, the changes that were brought up by Supervisor Wilson at that time were minor changes. I mean, there was a couple punctuation corrections and an additional, I have notes here, but there was an additional section that we added for industry standards on noise. I mean, if the zoning committee feels like it is not ready to go, then that's fine. And I mean, there was no push to, send this out to the towns. We thought that those changes that were made by Wilson were minor changes. There was a punctuation one, a mislettering one, a moving of a section, and adding of industry standards under noise.
Well, to my recollection, there was more than a few punctuations, and it seemed like she went on forever with changes, and I don't know, I wasn't happy with it anyway, so.
So again, my plan would still be to have both, again, if zoning committee is not ready to approve the ordinance for the public hearing in April, we would have a chance to still list another separate public hearing in May for the ordinance as well as for an extension of the moratorium.
Yeah, I hear that, but if it goes into May, we might have a whole totally different zoning committee than we got now, is what I'm thinking.
That's true. So for now, Jay, may it be that, here's a question, I guess. Because they have to be posted in the paper for 30 days. I know it does cost money to post stuff in the paper. Could we post them for the first week to be able to make the 30 days? And then by the time you have your zoning meeting, you would know whether you need to continue with one or the other?
Yeah, and I'll talk base again here with legal as far as the publication requirements. I'm not familiar that there's a 30-day publication requirement. I mean, everything that I've ever, read with zoning, public hearings would be a class 2 notice, which is 2 consecutive weeks, with the last notice being at least 7 days prior to the actual hearing. So it's not technically 30 days at all.
Okay, I did not know that, so thank you for clearing that up. Okay, so we should be good with that then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and May is unique again too, because zoning committee would actually meet before county board in May.
Well, anyway, Jay, I want to thank you for all you do.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jay. All right, anybody else have any questions regarding that? Okay. 16, Sawyer County Administrator Report.
Thank you. Go over a few things here. Under personnel, I want to remind everybody, and I did send out a letter to the department heads, that Administrative Professional Day is April 22nd. So I want everybody to thank their office support staff. And I thank all of them. They really make our county run smoothly and help our service to the community. And then next week, actually, April 12th through the 18th, is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. So again, I want to thank our dispatchers, who are the first responders, for all that they do and keeping our community safe and everybody taken care of.
You're gonna deliver a lot of donuts.
National Donut Day is coming up. I don't remember when that is. Yeah. Economic Development and Marketing, again, the 60th Annual Governor's Fishing Opener will be held on Nelson Lake on May 2nd. And then Mr. Kinsley and I, among others possibly, will be attending the banquet on the 1st. And the Sawyer County LCO Economic Development Corporation conducted interviews for a new executive director, so hopefully we'll have that done soon. As far as finance, we're pretty much done closing out everything. We did bring some recommendations that were approved to finance this morning as far as transfers to other funds that need some money. We'll be taking that to the board in 2 weeks. The audit will begin in about 5 or 6 weeks now already. And the other crazy thing is we'll be starting the 27 budget process in May too. It just never ends. Yeah, you better be thankful for this morning, because the next one won't be as for a while. As far as connections, we had a very productive meeting with members of the TGB on March 30th. We discussed some routes for ATV, UTV use within tribal lands, and also the tower, and I believe that we had a very productive meeting. I attended an artificial intelligence forum that was put on by UW Extension on March 26th, I think it was. There's a lot of information given, both the pitfalls and the productivity facets of AI. And there's one story that was really interesting to me. It was an attorney for Extension, and he talked about when he had a meeting that he was asked to prepare something for 2 hours in advance. So he didn't have a lot of time. So he said, well, I'm going to throw it out into the AI world and see what happens. And he was returned this very convincing looking argument, but the problem was it included state statute that didn't exist and also included case law that didn't exist. So, and he knew enough to check it out, and he had the libraries right in front of him. I found out it wasn't true, and what I didn't know until this day was that AI wants to please the user. So how you ask is how you're going to get answered. Yeah. So it will make up stuff, and I called it hallucinating. AI hallucinates to make you happy, to give you the result.
I like having a yes man. I've never had a yes man in my life. So, just to add on to that, real quick, I read something that really struck me. In the past, if you sent something out there or wrote something, message, whatever it be, who wrote this would be the question. So you were making sure you wrote it well. because who wrote this? Now with AI, the question isn't who wrote this, who approved this? So the point was utilize AI, however, you're the one approving it, so.
Yeah, and they said that over and over again. You can't blame AI for errant information.
approving that.
It's you.
That communication, right?
And a couple of presenters talked about responsible use of it, where if they're working on something, they'll write in there, use only .gov sites, or there was this other one that used a certain library that somebody else used. So it was very informative. I don't know a lot about AI, so I enjoyed it.
The better the question, the better the answer.
Oh, same as every computer, garbage in, garbage out. Yeah, been saying that for 30 years now. Let's see. I'm actually going to an airport seminar April 22nd and 23rd. Of all the departments in the county, airport is one I'm probably understand the least. So I felt that was going to be pretty valuable for me to go to get an overview and hopefully come back with a better understanding. Carbon credits, Greg Peterson and I met with Anu on the 23rd of March, and our credits are on the open market now. And that's about all I can say for an update, but they are out there, and
We can invest in them. I'm kidding.
I guess, yeah, you could invest in them. Talked about the Veterans Tribute, the demolition is done and hole should be totally filled by now. Update on CJCC, the executive committee met on March 27th. They discussed the mission and vision and also looked over national standards, and then we're going to be combing through our bylaws to make sure we line up with those standards. And Justice Point had a TAD grant site visit a couple weeks ago, and it went very well. Very good report on the work that Justice Point does on behalf of the county. Couple suggestions were made around collaboration and outreach efforts to kind of get more people involved there, but otherwise, very good report. And that concludes my report as well.
Thank you. Any questions for him? It's your last chance, Tom. Dream up one. 17, Board Appointment Committee updates. Yes.
I only have one. I have a transit board meeting today at 1 o'clock, and I'll have the results of that for the April board meeting.
Thank you. I will share that with the LCO. Our highway commissioner is getting information from a member at LCO saying that we need to work more cooperatively on some grant stuff, which I think is a positive, but some things will apply and some won't apply. But I'm glad that at least one of them are feeling that way, so maybe we can get more done, hopefully. Number 18, correspondence reports, conferences, meetings, future agenda items. At this time, I'd like to thank Mr. Duffy for everything he's done for Sawyer County. Been on the board quite a while, and I appreciate what you brought forward, and thank you for that.
We're gonna miss you, Tom.
Thank you, I'll miss you guys.
You bet. So, thank you for what you
I know where you are, I always.
You have, you can always come back and look us up.
Observe.
Okay, meeting adjourned, thank you.
I was looking at this